Hello, you are watching the Technology Magazine show, brought to you by Technology Magazine, AI Magazine, Mobile Magazine, Data Center Magazine, and BizClick. My name is Scott Birch, and as you know by now, every 2 weeks we're here to bring you the latest news, analysis, and opinions, and a little bit of fun from the world of technology. Joining me today is one of our editors for AI and technology. That's Marcus Law. Hi, Marcus. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Scott. Great to be here.
Excellent. I should say that Marcus is joining from our London office. I'm currently on extended vacation leave in Dubai. And also joining us, we have a data center and mobile editor all the way from Derbyshire in the UK, Joes Wallbank. Hello, Joes. How are you doing?
Hi, afternoon. I think it's afternoon, evening where you are. I'm not sure, but good afternoon, everyone. Just wanted to remind the audience that you can say hello by posting in the comments section just underneath the show, and make sure you vote in our LinkedIn poll for this week.
Absolutely. And as Joe's alluded to there, wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us. Please do come and say hello. Tell us where you are and what you're up to right now. It could be that it's the start of your day. If you're on, let's say, the west coast of the US, if you're in the Middle East, it could be the evening. You might be heading home or thinking about heading home. And if you're in Asia Pacific, of course, it's well into your evening time. You might just be kicking back and thinking, what I need right now is the Technology Magazine show just to fill me in on the latest breaking and latest news from the industries we're covering. Joes, before we get there, though, why do you tell us what the poll is this week?
Sure. So our poll has been inspired by a recent announcement from Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, because he recently told his staff that the company will be mandating a return to a fixed 3 days working in the office, which started earlier this month. But the announcement from Apple came just weeks after Spotify announced that its new work from anywhere policy drove a 15% drop in its attrition rate. So with these kind of two opposing stances in mind, what do you predict for the future of remote working in the hybrid sector? Is it A, completely flexible, B, hybrid, predominantly remote, C, hybrid, predominantly in person, or D, a complete return to office work?
Okay, and I think there's still time to go and vote in that poll. So if you're watching this on LinkedIn, you should be able to find the poll somewhere in the feed. So do come and have your say. Also, talking about a little bit of a sideline here, talking about the future of the workplace and the future of the office. One of our sister publications, Business Chief, has a workplace special in the September issue. So I absolutely encourage you to go and take a look at that as well. Really interesting interviews with some leading organizations from around the world. And part of that is, of course, Google's new, I think it's Bay campus. And to hear what Google are thinking about how they're redeveloping and rethinking the workplace. But we look forward to seeing the results of this poll. And don't forget, we'll also be having a little bit of fun later on with Tech That Takes You Back, where Joes and Marcus will be competing, going head to head to see who has the oldest or the weirdest technology from the past. Now, I must say that before the show started, I did ask both Joes and Marcus how confident they were of winning, and I was not filled with a good feeling. So I'll apologise now in case that particular segment is subpar, but who knows? They might have chosen some spectacular technology that will resonate with our audience wherever you are. But before that, and before everything else we're going to talk about, let's have a rundown of the latest technology, AI, mobile, and data center news. But before we get there, a little bit of breaking news, actually. I found a few seconds to rummage through my inbox, and a little bit of breaking news here. Lumen Technologies has just announced, probably in the last 15 or 20 minutes, that Kate Johnson has been appointed president and CEO and is going to join the company's board of directors in November. Johnson, as you probably know, previously held key leadership roles across a variety of Fortune 100 companies, including Oracle, General Electric, and Microsoft. She actually succeeds Jeff Story, who announced his retirement after a distinguished, I think that's absolutely the right word to use, 40-year career. Now, importantly as well, in this role, Johnson will join 44 other female CEOs leading businesses on the Fortune 500 list. So 45 out of 500 is not where we want to be, but at least it's one more name added to that list as well. So congratulations to Kate Johnson. Congratulations, of course, to Luma Technologies. And we'll try and grab an interview with Kate Johnson when she actually takes up that position. I think it's going to be the 7th of November, something like that. So a little bit of breaking news for you. So, Joe, let's get back onto schedule and back onto the script. Why don't you tell us the latest bit of news from data center that you want to share?
Sure, absolutely. So I wanted to share a story from Cropin, who has just announced the launch of their world's first dedicated agricultural industry cloud solution, which is a bit of a mouthful, which is called Cropin Cloud. The platform will bring together a suite of agricultural digitization applications and allow easy access to ready-to-use data sources and connect the user to AI-powered agri-intelligence. So it's a solution that's designed for users across the agricultural industry, and which is designed to help them tackle some of the biggest challenges that the world's kind of supply chain, food shortages, some of the challenges that are being faced right now. The new Cropin Cloud brings together globally field-tested technologies and intelligent solutions in one integrated platform, which is powered by the world's largest crop knowledge graph, which covers over 500 crops and 10,000 varieties across 92 different countries. It's designed just to help kind of those involved in the sector manage the growing demand and help kind of address climate change issues that really threaten our supply chains.
Absolutely, and as you said, the food and water supply chains are not only critical but under immense stress and under immense pressures right now. So it sounds like the Cropin Cloud could be a useful solution to help people to manage that. Now, of course, you can read all of our stories that we are talking about here and our new issues of the magazines on our websites. And here we go. Here's the roll call. We have technologymagazine.com, we have aimagazine.com, datacentermagazine.com, and mobile-magazine.com. Don't forget the hyphen, mobile-magazine.com. So, Joes, why do you highlight something from the new mobile magazine as well?
Sure. So this comes from September edition, which was just released a week or so ago. I spoke to Nina Patel, who is the co-founder and the VP of Metaverse Research at Kabuni, and I got the opportunity to speak to her about the future role that the Metaverse could have in education. So alongside exploring the fascinating capabilities that this technology could create in classroom settings and generally creating huge opportunities for kids across the world, she also used this kind of interview to warn that before the metaverse can be deployed in the education sector, online safety requirements will need to change quite dramatically. She shared her own personal experiences of the safety risks of the metaverse and her insights and recommendations for creating a safe metaverse, which successfully learns from the mistakes that we made with the mainstream use of the internet and most recently social media.
Okay, really interesting. And of course, Joseph, if people want to read the full edition of September's mobile magazine, what's the website they need to go to?
Don't forget the hyphen. It's
mobile-magazine.com. There you go. We'll just leave that running across the bottom there. Okay, so thank you for that, Joes. And Marcus, by the way, Marcus, this is your debut on the show. That's correct, isn't it?
It is. That's right. Yeah. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, we should welcome you because I know that we talked about you, or we mentioned you. I wouldn't talk about you. That sounds rude. We mentioned you in the last episode and highlighted the fact that you had recently joined us. So it's really good to have you on board our technology and AI magazines. So why don't you show us something that you've selected actually from Technology Magazine September issue?
Yeah, great. Yes. So my highlight for technology is the cover story from September's brilliant edition, I must say, of Technology. It's written by Tilly Kenyon on how Oracle is working with Red Bull Racing and Formula One, both on and off the track. So the team took advantage of Oracle's cloud infrastructure last season, which helped Max Verstappen controversially to the World Drivers' Championship. But now the team is rolling out a first of its kind fan loyalty program to its massive global audience. So Tilly speaks to Amir El-Rawi, on how Oracle and Red Bull Racing are shaking up things in Formula One, and how OCI enables the team to better predict tactics that will hopefully lead them to the podium in future.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great feature, like you said. And also, Amr El-Rawi gave a fantastic talk at our technology event recently, kicking things off, actually. So really fascinating insight into how the data is being used to really drive performance in the Red Bull team. Absolutely fascinating read. Whether you're a fan of Formula One or not, I urge you to go and have a read of that for sure. And also, Marcus, I think you've got something to show us from AI Magazine as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So this week I've picked a story written by George Hopkin, which highlights the real energy and power requirements of the metaverse. So neural networks are going to be required at an enormous scale in order to deliver on the promises that are being made by metaverse developers. But improvements like this depend on the availability of huge computational resources that require enormous energy consumption. And one of the figures George picks out is that one AI model on its own could generate as much as 5 cars worth of greenhouse gases. And the whole piece highlights the need to build a more sustainable virtual reality for the masses. And that's through research into more efficient algorithms and also hardware.
Absolutely. And sorry, again, I keep talking about our live events and things we did, but we actually had our sustainability live event in London last week. Thank you to everybody who watched that, by the way, either in person or who joined online. And it reminds me actually of one session that Travis Wright, I was just trying to remember the name. Yes, Travis Wright of QTS Data Centers. He was outlining like just the energy and the footprint of the data center industry globally. And like the emissions are higher than the aviation industry, for instance. And that's not something I think that most people would immediately, be aware of. The aviation industry is one that's often highlighted when it comes to, reducing emissions and what have you. But, every time we scroll down a page on our phones or read our internet, and obviously the metaverse is going to be a huge draw on that as well. So yeah, interesting to see not only the power requirements, but how data centers and other industries are going to tackle that and how they can make themselves more efficient for one, but also more sustainable and environmentally friendly as we move forward. Okay, now still to come after the break, Jose and Marcus will be going head to head in tech that takes you back. I wish I could go back about 30 seconds. So go and put the kettle on and we'll see you again in about 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Bye for now.
So Leo Geert van den Berg. I'm the director for the fixed networks, working in the technology department in Vodafone-Ziggo. Vodafone-Ziggo, two mother companies, 50% owned by Liberty, 50% owned by Vodafone Group. Earlier this year, we were awarded with the Umlaut Award for Best Fixed Network in the Netherlands. We've been investing a lot of effort and money on making our networks and our products and our services better for our customers. The fact that you're able to make an impact in a company like Vodafone-Ziggo and that you can impact millions of lives of customers, that's what drives me the most. We have a number of partners where we're working with in the Netherlands. We've launched Smart Wi-Fi last year. We launched it together with Plume, so better in-home connectivity. Entertainment is one of the important pillars of our strategy to make sure that we provide our customers with access to all OTT content. We see that there is a gap in society where new technology and new digital skills are not always easy to be picked up by everybody in society. So we have programs running for elderly people where we train them and teach them and bring them along and show them how new technology works. But we also do this for kids. And one of the things I've been involved in myself is a program called Online Masters, where we tell them all about digital skills. And another example in that same category is a coder dojo. Kids can do actually developing of code, of software. We bring them to the Ziggo Dome, the music venue in the Netherlands. We've just renewed our relationship with the Ziggo Dome for another 10 years. Oceana is providing our optical technology. They've been a partner for us for many years. We are in the middle at Vodafone Ziggo of a digital transformation. Customers should be able to do items online, create new technologies and switch them on and enable them with a click of a button. And that's what we do with network automation. That's where Tata Elexi is helping us. We now see that gaming becomes more and more online gaming and cloud gaming. And there's many examples where this innovation will continue. There will always be smart people that take the benefits and use these enablers to create the next best product. And they take advantage of all the great technologies that are out there that we provide and that some of our partners are providing for us.
Welcome back. What a great video. Loved watching that again. So yeah, welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Technology Magazine LinkedIn Live show. And we're going to bring you the results of the poll next. I think the poll has closed. Hang on. Yes, the poll has closed. Voting has closed. So Joes, how did it go? Tell us the results and let's have a quick chat about those.
Cool. So it was a really interesting one, actually. So we were talking about the future of remote working in the hybrid sector. Just joined us, and the majority of the audience, about 42%, voted that predicted that it would be hybrid and predominantly remote. But then second place, 37% said completely flexible. So quick maths, that is 79% said that they predict either at least minimum predominantly remote for the sector. Then it came in at hybrid predominantly in person, got 20%, and only 2% voted for a complete return to office work, which was, again, really interesting.
Okay, well, there you go. There's the results of the poll. As you can see, they're just tickering across the bottom there. Marcus, what's your take on those results? What's your initial thoughts?
Well, I was in the 20% actually who said for predominantly in the office, but still hybrid. But that's because I quite like being in the office. But it doesn't surprise me that there's such a huge percentage of people wanting to be hybrid. Only 2% is quite surprising. But I'm not sure what your take is on that.
Yeah, I was quite surprised that figure was so low. I mean, obviously, tech is an industry that enables people to do all that, right? So in a way, it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's always going to be a little bit skewed. And there's always going to be other industries or sectors that are more inclined to do the in-person. I really enjoy the in-person nature of being in an office. Nothing wrong with video calls like this. Obviously, we're spanning continents on this very call. But having that face-to-face interaction with colleagues on a regular basis, I think is really important, especially if you're in, certain industries like creative industry, which we are, then I think it's absolutely essential. But yeah, really interesting. So thank you to everybody who took part in the poll. Now, earlier on, you might remember I was talking about Sustainability Live, and I was talking about Travis Wright at QTS Data Centres, who was talking about the emissions of the industry there. And it was a really fantastic event. I just want to highlight some of the sessions, actually. So this was over 2 days, and we had 2 live stages and a virtual stage as well. There's some really great speakers, including tech giants, including Google and Microsoft. And some of the highlights, because I hosted one of the stages, some of the highlights on my stage, I call it my stage, it's not mine, Garant John from Interos, and we were talking about supply chain disruption, which relates obviously to your food story from earlier on, Jones, as well, and also how Interos can help mitigate those risks and have a sort of visibility into the supply chain. And Musidora Jurgensen Microsoft UK Chief Sustainability Officer. She gave a really interesting session as well. Steve Smith of Schneider Electric, really good to hear his thoughts on how they're really driving the sustainability agenda, and they're often voted the world's most sustainable company. The list goes on. There are too many to mention here, but also some brilliant sessions on the second stage hosted by our new managing editor, Neil Perry. So just wanted to give him a shout out. I mean, bearing in mind it was his first week with the business, he did an absolutely incredible job. So well done. Well done, Neil, and well done everybody who pulled together the show. Really fantastic to see everyone producing such an incredible event. And I just want to highlight as well, the video that we saw there in the ad break was made by our producer, Marta. So top job, Marta. Now, you'll be able to view all of those sessions from the live event on our website shortly. They're probably just being processed and chopped up into individual pieces of content. So we'll watch this space, and we'll probably bring you a few of those in our next session. But first, it's what you've all been waiting for. I know I have. Live from Dubai, Derbyshire and London, it's tech that takes you back. Okay, now if anyone is new to the show and is wondering what the heck this is all about, oh, nice music by the way, Kieran. This is a chance for Joe's, Marcus, or anyone else playing the game to come on here and tell me about a piece of tech from the past and why I should care about it. Now we've had a mixed bag of technology over the course of this show, I think it's fair to say. But I'm having flagged this up at the top of the show as something that I don't hold out high hopes for. I'm really expecting somebody to surprise me and enamor me with this tech. So who should we go first? Marcus, seeing as it's your first go and your debut performance, then why don't you go first and tell me all about your tech? So tell me what it is and why you think it's a piece of tech that needs preserving forever in the pantheon of tech.
Absolutely. So I am taking you back to 2006, which isn't that long ago. I'm going to tell myself. The Sony Ericsson K700i, which is notable for its camera on the back, which has, if the video is timed properly, unfortunately not, it's an unpacking, has that fantastic slider on the back of the camera. Now that is something I think really should be coming back to smartphones. It's a fantastic thing. I really miss it. It's a 3.2 megapixel camera. So you go back to a time before the iPhone, before any smartphones. It was a proper digital camera in the back of a phone, a proper dedicated flash, 3.2 megapixel sensor on there, plus a phone. Absolutely fantastic. I miss mine. I'd love to know where it is.
Plus a phone. I mean, what will they think of next? I mean, that is a pretty slick feature, isn't it, actually? I mean, looking at it there, it actually does look like a camera, doesn't it? And then flip it around, flip it around, and it really does look like a phone. Okay, I'm mildly impressed, I have to say, mildly impressed. So, Joes, the pressure is on. How many of these have you won on past shows, Joes?
None as of yet. We'll remain hopeful.
Okay.
This might be the one that cinches it.
Could be the one. It could be the one. Okay, let's see what you've got.
I did pick this one for some nostalgic reasons. It's the old BlackBerry Bold, which I remember about 10 years ago. From BlackBerry absolutely dominated the mobile market with this model, and everyone of any age, whether businessman or no, had a BlackBerry, and the little keys, little typing keys. And it's, a phone that is just designed for corporate use became, everyone in schools had one. It was absolutely fascinating to me. And when you look back and you look at the tiny little keypad, it's just a wave of nostalgia, really, that one. And the little pixelated camera, it was a pleasure, really.
Okay, all right. Well, two mobile phones. Did you know that you both had mobile phones to show off today? No. Okay.
Complete coincidence.
I'm glad you're not colluding here. The BlackBerry. From what I recall, it definitely was the phone of business, right? It was the choice because I think it was the only one at the time that had the push emails, wasn't it?
It was. I think it was the BlackBerry Chat. It's really taking me back now. The BBM. That's it. The kind of WhatsApp of its day really made it popular amongst younger generations, they absolutely dominated the market, but only for about 2 years or so, and then it kind of slid back into obscurity.
I think it's the classic thing of BlackBerry might well have been the market leader or first for technology, but often it's that second mover initiative where someone comes out and just does it maybe slightly better or slightly cheaper. And these companies that used to dominate. I mean, well, you're the editor of Mobile, Joes. You should know all this. I'm sure you do. But yeah, look at Nokia and BlackBerry and how their fortunes have waned in the handset market. But like a lot of companies, they've had to do a pivot as well, right? And Nokia are doing interesting things right now. And let's see what BlackBerry comes up with. Okay, well, I need to pick a winner, don't I? I'm going to pick a winner. And this is not because I said her name wrong earlier, but I'm going to pick Joe's because I am a fan of the BlackBerry, actually. It's a sterling effort, Marcus, but at the end of the day, it was just a bit of a fancy phone feature. I do like the sliding aspect, I really do, but I think the BlackBerry is always going to pip the Sony Ericsson there. So, Joe's, you are our winner for today. Okay, folks, look, that's all we've got time for this episode. Really hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure you tune again in 2 weeks' time, and by that time, we should have some of those sessions from the last show that we can show you as well. Thank you for interacting with us if you've been watching live and taking part in the poll, of course. And remember, the show is available to watch on demand as well. So please do share the link with any colleagues or friends that might be interested in all the technology-related material we've been talking about. Big thank you to Joes and Marcus for joining us today, for Kieran for pulling the strings in the background, and of course the rest of the video team. This has been a BizClick production, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye for now.